Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan. Hi, my name is The Laboratory, an international flutist from Ghana. I urge you all to listen to Jafric Radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio, Radio mu papa. Jafric Radio, Radio mu kiko. Jafric Radio, yeah mamu kasi bopa. Jafric Radio. Jafric Radio, yeah mamu kasi papa. Jafric Radio, yeah mamu adiswa papa. Jafric Radio, Radio, Jafric Radio. Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio, Radio Mukiko. Jafric Radio, yeah mamu kasi papa. Jafric Radio.
Baba network life so ene nkomo aye bedi no bese awaboka eti wadawroma jedwa na yenhwe wiyeye ene wonkwagye ho asem eye talk life you say no and live well medin nana ya konedum talk life ba wakwan mu a ye woka fam Ghana Limited et so electronic appliances e papa nyina bi e wo ho New Life Homeopathy, who is your doctor? Dr. Makjeya Uni how? You was Celsius, a pink salt, iodized salt, and chine papebi, imboost herbal mixture, and chine, I would to a animal air day Celsius. We here say immunity and so a kama, and unti would Celsius, eh? Now we'll num imboost. Nani pedrema soja fone jina brane, wa kweti anyar wenyina, and you many sponsors, ya do masia basisia.
If you have an hour this week, you can learn 100
Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan.
And then talk life is so. You was of pong. A setna pa ene abrabo pa eda na koma so e ka onum ko nanka obia wote ne ne ehunu kwam papa no na yedie ni asomdwe ayo ni bakro chefa na ni bakro kwagye nso waye ho adwuma ene ono na ni ebedi nkomo onipa making eyo sofo pon a oda Alabaster International Ministry ano Prophet Dr. Kofi Oduro. Ye de your friend papa. Papa Fisher pa.
And I'm going to view so.
Yeah, that's it. And no brain.
People that's.
Hey, Papa, we need brain. It's me now break a class here. Na me nia Japan.
That's why you fair.
Papa me dash. We showers. Papa, and the young come why de buy it ya wa. Ye be say ye hwe say abrabo ye bui. Mu asembi ewo mu a eboa ema yedi yie ana.
That's a very powerful question. Meda ahrefu na se mamu bi afishia pa. Talk life ahrefu na afipan commentary afida sabre enyam ya tu obi apro na tamfu eni. Ama enkunimudi aba edi ama obi a. Meda se. Okay kan atwere no Deuteronomy itira ya motwe imu a eyedu motwe Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18 unyame asem se e ma really feel kai se me awurade me na me ma utumi ma adidi but ansa na me de be gina awurade fem ma me ma the generally okay an overview say mu tumi bitimi tai ni pa yi re chia amen to a particular point, and there be to a particular point. The same tree and the set. In the realm of the spirit, there is positivity and there is negativity. It is the point of the question should be which section and award in the positive side or in the negative side. Yes, to say ubi entimi nsum awura no be obedo baako eja baako. There are two dominant spirits, the spirit of God and the spirit of the devil. There are no gray areas. Ubi entimi nkasa na de mini nyame afa na mini bonsa afa. There is nothing like that. Mfifi bi eni ho. Iti ida se wo nyame afa and ase wo bonsa afa. Now, se obi wo nyame afa, wo nyame ho the power the man. Bible said, na sabuni papra mo nim se de mo de ne pama mo man wo bisa bodo amomfa abo ema wo mo. Wo bisa kusia mo mo ye nya nchira na wo wa. Ene na embrace na mo je wo so mo bisa ne nse mo ade awo mfa ne pama. Job guma ne so wo ma wo suo toma de boyefo ne apapafo. Na me ye na dwuma wo mfa mo se wo bi som no ana wo nsom no wo bi di ni ana wo ni ni. Inhyira bi ne mom na wo hɔ a sete ho ma kyɛdeɛ wo nyame de mani pa na de do ni die ma wo no awura. Now ye wo hɔ ne se wo nipa bi yasi so a wo nyame wo kyɛ wo nneɛma bi wo nyɛ wo hwɛ wo de kyɛ
wo nipa bi yasi so a papa obia
wo nyame ama nneɛma bi sa gye na fa kɔbɔ bra. And now I'm about when Jay will peace make a moon. And I talk life with himself or bring to my main trim. Number one, when your member will be a time. Will be our 24 hours. She can do 24 hours. She can do 24 hours. You go school 24 hours. You want to go school 24 hours. Bruni 24 hours. Bibini 24 hours. Dear, what the will be in the year. And the betch maybe a requirement.
Time.
Now, time or not, it dissects into seasons. Into what time when you're media now, the time on one gives birth to the moment and season. Oh, the will be all say, Precopene Yamia Bielus. Now, if you want GD, all over the place. The season of public revealing has come. This, what time no crying, there are sections in it. Be out in your time, you have your originating time, you have your stretching time, and then lastly you have your settling time. We about be out with the season, no a section into 3 seasons. We see swa we do tibe and sana no. That's your origination. And I feel we say we drew the idea. You say, come me bomb by an academy. I feel the answer, the near Muchum, and I said, maybe it's your stretching stage. We will be to say you set for. We see one of the papa coat of medical as for the share. At Adia, Nejana de man, no, Yatadia, Naya Williamshire. And they and Rebecca's Waji Awards. He came into the place of notoriety. With Yamekton Masado. The dire sono brought him into notoriety. I feel the land Wabata, on one in the Anmonte. We eat a energy there, Emma Dacro Crane Papatina.
so mami. Some of so baby say I'm coming suda. Many so baby say a jackamanca senti oda. Me say oda. I see a day. You feel me when we know. Me never does so.
Ishmaelites no kura mu no ayi ni free bomb no o manage no so o motor do yi please obi a water obi akoton te say obi a water a product akoton product no e was here to in term na ni so so the woman Joseph they applied all those principles
not just for a marketable
product
product
or a marketable product one motor no did drew Israel ma happen will be told who could do Potiphar fie na je no ho prekope Potiphar fie where ya akwa enso no ya enkoa wo fie na wo yititiri where can before it that favor went with him. Sa origination season went with him.
okay
And on ten corner. I feel we'll be doing the stretching stage. Till the time no, or the season it won't be section into 3. The second part, or there if you are simply shabe dumias. So if you are simply or and I'm the can will program no so hard the sense. When you make Casabiano, Upera Kankasa is one of the simplest languages ever spoken. Dina ubi organ heavy, no matter Casabi or Kabia or Ka, one didn't gather out, yes. And your Casabi so a Casa Yidru or Teklemas. Now, Sakasa Yidra, Manzit Van Zibia Mekan Casa, Namekan Bekasa, Nameka Wasakasa. Nasa me de country. Oti michi, oti hawazano wo michi because kasa ni
we do
inti se meye awaze ni meye dabani ni meye kotokoli ni meye nasa me the country you will have a residual effect or the accent of the language inti sana Hebrew kasa nti Hebrew kasa ni Hebrew watachere maso inti Joseph so kasa ibe so Hebrew inti nyame ade a wodi kan ye ye se mempasi hu se we Hebrew ni na Pharaoh so misane da na pamfo ne na tranko ni misane da se wukura we ye hini obi ya misane da o de ne koto afia se ko yi sa kasa dudu ni firi ne techre me e ma ne ko sua Mizraim kasa tin yi a o kasa fluently he speaks fluent Egyptian and he kan o ma ne ko shia Pharaoh sashefo and if Pharaoh pan to for mo mo chire ne Mizraim royal etiquette and royal manners sabe ya wo nya ko dru Pharaoh animo a wa wo be hu se di wo betoto na na wansi papa ye to so mi no o ba be di ade a ono a be hu se di adidi ene Mizraim amamre eti ti wo nya me all stretching no e ye school na no de na ekro na because nipa bebre on mo a won sa stage. This is the time for betrayal, this is the time for backstabbing, this is the time people talk about you, this is the time you become a talk of town, you know, and all that. Nipa betnya come on sabi a stretching stage. You want to see for the next stage, which is your settling stage, which is going to be the biggest and the longest season of your time. Inti saa no nyame settle e wanna you buy your third house, your fourth house, that's where you build your legacy and that's where posterity remembers you for, and that is the stage, you know, one word describes you. It's intimate bought and chroma. The only thing that comes to mind is independence. Me bought Steve Jobs, Apple, me bought Bill Gates, Microsoft. That is where one word describes you. Me bought it Kwashia, Coco. That's where you build, you settle and you build your legacy. Your time, nyamema will be your time. And the year back on with the medical will be so your purpose.
Did you know?
Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan.
O purpose no ma wo timi sorry and opa no na ma brainstorming and reflect and meditate and all that. and don't take order. Number 3, and when you're media asset to work with, you have life to yourself, and don't take order. When you're ideas. Talk Life was an idea. This way chocolate was an idea. Kafa was an idea. You know, all the imbus was an idea. Idea no, but say answer idea will never happen. The idea not the when your member will be happy. And then we'll give you favor.
Okay.
And then the baby be for you. And so he gives you the courage for you to be able to walk into those favors. Okay. And I think you have a special gift. You know, I think you can work on radio. I think you can work on television. That is favor, opening doors. And then the next thing is your helpers.
Okay.
And then the helpers are going to come in 3 different strokes. Some for a reason, some for a season, and some for a lifetime. It is helpers. They are not going to all be there forever in your life. In your origination stage, you will meet some helpers. In your stretching stage, you will meet some helpers. And then in your settling stage, you meet some helpers. But some helpers are also there throughout your life. Until you are going to meet people who are going to be helpers. And sometimes helpers are not people. Sometimes helpers are situations. A situation can help you. You know, and God can supernaturally also help you. And the helpers come also in different ways. But one thing that the Lord will help everybody,
faith.
And this is where your answer comes in.
Papa sana answer ne beba no. I had the okay situational. Maybe despite media per situation.
All right.
Na me compare CD. E dey akoye me program.
Okay.
That time na me wo opesa me ba Accra.
Wow.
Me drew ebonya me fa ne crazy. I say it on every platform. And I say nana father hwehwe osa.
Wow.
And I'm so me so na me hwehwe na me hu no.
Wow.
And I say and number we so no wo sisi. G. E one of friend father man. It was that situation, that moment. Brakra says, yeah, that was the end of the story, end of the conversation. Rather more, now situation in the bar when you're prepared. Amen. Talk life, you say no and live well. May everyday energy drink. May everyday energy e will look mu hwehwe bi ebeboa me your banti me no me yogurt obapa onso no bi e one yogo eno e na me de me ho ato so eboa me pa ma ho siesie mu no the this classic shamatade na ma mpani me tena paka mu say ya covered kama na mani age ho eti obeso looking fine the this classic what the beach say Rushmore hair sitting na ye meti enne Twins Glam and a year me nim products no if you Rush Beauty the very generators share me power needs or Nasco furniture and share me furniture needs at the mami na the talk life bro yes say no and live well me that's ya ba yeah that's yeah the above for no say no patronize your mama your social media pages no Talk Live TV or YouTube ne TikTok na Talk Live GH or Facebook and Instagram and ne Papa Kofi Dro na nkasa ne wa nti mpacho tie o we wasa wutie etitie mame na ekwampa a obefa so abrabo no yeye kwan no obesi so ananso obeka so enene ye ne wo eche papa ye da se ye be kwa homegem no na ya ka ba besi faith.
That's right.
Papa any faith
GDA and say everybody Abraham ya bo pija no was say many everybody trade yam nanti many nepe the na with the papers will catch Abraham or the will catch David ewo presusam muma 2 Chronicles chapter 20 verse 20 was see everybody di was be team jeneni for the ubedi yewu atumi ewo GDA mo na ma wo wie gina fa akoma Joshua GDA ya die bia eno ne bokwan ema yehu a ensa etimi epushi obi invisibly. It is sometimes Rebecca said a favor but what constitutes to favor is faith. Faith is the gate or the door that opens before favor can be able to work. It will be so. That's what person will ye. Me say what they or no one kasana brabo ashen and some say no matter what it is, over be ye or be one home thing. Strategizing, planning, prioritizing, goal setting, to-do list, budgeting, staffing, and all those things in place, and they are making the effort every day now. The spiritual world rules the physical world.
The spiritual world.
It rules the physical world. Asem biya esi wo honem no. Aye ho adwuma wo ho wiase. Awurade asem ka bi wo Daniel mama. Was say this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High rules in the affairs of men, and to whomsoever he wills, he gives it. In the kingdom of men, God rules, and the spiritual world, God is a spirit, and they that worship him. Iti ubia ni wa wemu nyame physically da ye di gidie na esum nyame iti yinim se nyame wo ho ye won a wodo no so katuafo iti gidie ne de bo wura ho mu ne de asum nyame se bibi besia ubi mpeja ye ubi ye yo eno nyame kai se me call London for ala tennis of me now a CEO of a television station, Billy TV. Na on the meeting in the office, yes, I contract you and work at me say, Gina made be or sorrow. I'm say also saying. But see, in the media world, there are gates. And I'm saying it's scriptural. The Bible calls it the prince of the power of the air. Yes, Ukraine cancer said, I will build my church, and the gates of hell and the prince of will not prevail against it. Inti osejise ibie gates. Now say why the baby get was why? Now say how do I do that? I say well no dey gina ugidi so. Why na agidi? And ama me kai ugidi somewhere ko basre. Sorry so for preach bi so why na agidi? Na fe ya kai ugidi as be je na go ko e ne me na so chumfo and all that. We say that. Inti oka say na say wow. Inti we now works us yes. Or say, if the gates in the realm does not open, you can be shouting in the studio. And I was shocked to hear that from a media person. I say, if what percent near my the gates will have to open. I was shocked. In Tanzania, I'm going to be
no. Papa, and your mama said, and then my phobia, and yet nimpo the chasse or hot it in because ye son. It is so Obia quack draw, Obia quasic draw, Obia quay whom be at the prank or so, ain't he? And yard the for now when your mama.
I mean, like I said, in the realm of the spirit, there are two spectrums: the positivity and the negativity. You know, so it will be percent or quality home. Be the bad tie the positive, that's it. The negative, also that's it. You know, it is a me see so me na me papa won now for now we believe in secret society be a omoko, and they used to call it the gentleman's club.
Okay.
And Obia no club maybe was a gentleman in suits and all that, and Obia that they care more and that kind of, and they believe that we of course society or club or whatever they call it, you know, and club no namo. What they do there, I don't know, and I don't. But they believe that
into faith, no,
into faith comes in. When we say faith, it's not only positive side. Before crowd faith, what GBD, what the real she it will be calling a man a booby, and will be the booby by Sɛ papa akɔgye bosom bi na adeɛ ne hu na
Nti bomba e ma me.
Sɛ yɛ deɛ no yi bi o sɛ yɛ boɔ na nam sɛ deɛ ne tare ho no sɛ wodwan abɔ de sɛ ne yɛde atare yɛde glue ne yɛde atare boɔ no so na nam sɛ nti deɛ na apɛ sɛ meyɛ no sɛ adeɛ ne hu na me daa me ntimi nna nam sɛ ɛne akɔto twi no sɛ woto twi no ɛbɛsa bɛda baabi yɛda nam sɛ ɛne ɛhye no wɔsɛ baabi ne ntimi nhyɛ no mehye no abewu. So I took the thing and then I said, wait, GDM, I would be ashamed.
I don't know.
They are working coming in. The GD is a church in the GD is the Jatus. That's maybe GD. Who GD say become this GD is it? You know, I just took a thing, just threw it away. That's in a way free.
Onya gidie
no maybe you tear free the only tia koshase na ye Kristo Yesu be fa se bibra na be kraje nkwa fa mbone chebe ewi gidie abegina be isa gidie wo de wakoma agidi na no ano pe mu kan eno so ye gidie utie frase obra branti bi si so no so ke be beton cars bi petumi bi up tag a chidi ama mi grade ya koso na won kono nam beni kuto no me ade kokko yitumi bi ba be hyase ya bonsam mfa na ade bi amakọ in medwuma yem wo awurade edwuma ba de ebe hunu ne se obi betumi akoye bibi na ekyire nsumso anso no ebi kura anya won no kura na beba no so inkyire ma bibiri ya won to so na abaga video in the realm of the spirit you can access it, but once you access the spirit realm through faith, is positivity and negativity. Ubi betumi akoji bibi atachiri, which is negative. Udedi ebe koso, but ebe ensisa. Na hu ebe bi abranti bi iwu bi twa so o mabusie. Abranti ebe senso twa so wuye. Within a short time. Iti won ba ya na hon kronkron da ne bi se mo na na bi koje bibi free so. Etimi dan di kire baabi ade no wo mukrum ene ekubi epuno no ko hu ade ekuku na newu sedie empane ene sharp objects ene wasadi ene enua yini ne ade ne da chichire bi you know what tam kokko bi a chichire no ebo ade ne a chichire kuku na no bi eso ne ma hu
Papa Sanyo no nekwaje.
Enyo no nekwaje. But the last one I'm almost sorry Bible. Abraham tell the TV, they didn't quite say no kwasi that or get a newspaper or can. Cause I be told on a newspaper and buy also a city as a newspaper upusu no. Usum no be told from why
Well,
and Sabu almost in Siana Canina Sabi Bisa.
Hi, my name is The Laboratory, an international flutist from Ghana. I urge you all to listen to Jafric Radio station based in Japan.
If you come to Ghana and you don't visit ANC Mall, that means you practically have not visited Ghana. ANC Mall was the first mall built in Ghana right here in East Legon. And guess what? It was by a diasporan who worked at WHO in Geneva for so many years. Him and his wife decided to move back to Ghana and set up the first mall in Ghana, built in 2002. I want to find out how has he been able to maintain a business in Ghana for so long, and also what made him move back in the first place. A lot of people complain about land being so expensive. How was he able to get such a big land and build this amazing mall, which is fully owned by a Ghanaian? Let's find out more about this great man and great woman, Mr. and Mrs. Asamoah.
Meet Grammarly Go.
Jafric Radio, Radio mu papa. Jafric Radio.
Hello, Chairman.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dentist Show, and I am joined by Mr. Andrew Kwabena Asamoah, who is the founder of ANC Mall, which started in 2002. He was able to climb up the ladder in Geneva at WHO, one of the biggest institutions. He was a special advisor to the WHO Director General when it comes to constitutional matters. A barrister, called to the bar, Ghana, Nigeria, have affiliations with everything, a doctor as well. And your journey is inspiring. The fact that ANC Mall is fully Ghanaian owned. I remember when I posted it on my social media, Andy, a lot of people like, what is Ghanaian owned? It's not Lebanese, it's not Indian. And how does that make you feel actually when you hear that something that is Ghanaian owned, people are saying it's, you know, either Lebanese or another country?
It makes me feel happy and sad at the same time. Happy in the sense that a Ghanaian have been able to do something which people think it cannot be done by a Ghanaian. And it makes me sad in the sense that more of this cannot be done by Ghanaians. I feel that in Ghana, we should be able to make sure that Ghanaians occupy the higher highest, that all these, about 80% should be Ghanaian owned, and 20% foreign owned. But when you have a majority of foreign owned, at the end of the day, these people are not Father Christmas. Every money they make, they have to take it outside. Whereas if a Ghanaian is doing business, the money stays within the country. So that's why I am happy and sad at the same time.
I mean, 15 years of ANC Mall, did you ever imagine that it would get to this level? I know that owning a Ghanaian business in Ghana is difficult, it's challenging. Sometimes you don't get the support that it's needed. For you to be able to have this length of a journey, 15 years, is quite significant.
Because I've stayed outside, when I was coming, I came with the mind that if I have 20% of the total amount I need for the mall, I'll get a mortgage. So I came with that mind, went to the banks, and the banks not only will not give you a mortgage, the maximum a bank will give you payable in 5 years. At the same time, the bank also did not believe that this will work because this was the first time. So they never thought that this European Western mall will work in Ghana. Actually, one of the bankers told me, look, here our mall is the Makola market. So there were a lot of teething problems trying to put it together. So when I saw one, that was difficult to raise the money, and two, even if I could get it, the interest rate they were asking was too atrocious. I decided to take a risk and sell my properties abroad. I had a home in London, I have a place in Geneva, I had a property in America. I have to sell everything to put it together. And even when I did all that, I still have to decide to do it in phases. I had a master plan, but I couldn't. So what I did was concentrate first on the main mall, get the tenants in, and from there move. This was the first phase. To the second phase, which was the fuel station. Then we went to the office building where you have the restaurants. And finally, we went to where the university is. So it took us about 10 years to get ANC Mall as you see it there. And then we went further to invest in solar. ANC Mall is the only mall in the whole of West Africa that is fully powered by solar. We use the electricity as a backup, but 90% of our electricity needs is generated by ourselves. We are very proud that we've been able to do this.
You spoke about a few challenges, and a lot of people in the diaspora who are coming back home trying to set up a business probably won't stay the length of time that you still encourage yourself that, okay, I can do it, it can be done. Interest rate, ridiculously high if you're trying to get a loan here. Same with mortgage, is very difficult. What made you want to keep on making sure that this gets delivered?
Okay, two things. One, when I was coming, because I work with the UN, I've traveled a lot, and I've seen that in many African countries, even smaller than Ghana, they have shopping malls like in Harare, in Lusaka, and other places. So I felt, and looking at the number of Ghanaians who are outside the country and a lot of Ghanaians who have studied abroad, I knew that this system will work. Number two, in a way, I think because I went incremental, I was able to see what is needed. I mean, when you look at the ANC mall, it's not your typical mall, because when you go to your typical mall, you are only going to buy. ANC is a misuse complex. You have a fitness center. When I tell people that there's a swimming pool here, they don't even believe it. You have a playground for children. You have a big food court. You have clinics, dentists, laboratory, laundry. So it's a sort of the area, this is their mall. So anybody who is living in this Legon, you don't only come to ANC to shop, you come to dine, you come to enjoy. In the evening, there's a nightclub. So it's the people's mall. So everybody has something he gets here. I meet people who tell me they don't come here one day, they feel that something is missing. Today is Saturday. If you go to, you see people are here just to watch football, you know, meet their friends and things. You come here at midnight, the place is full. You come here in the morning, the place is full. So it's a community mall. We are here to serve.
Radio Muki con Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu kasia bopa Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu futu papa Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu kasia bopa Jafric.
Go out of our way to look at what we feel the community needs. If you come and you want a space, we want to know what you want to do. And it has to fit in into what we feel will be serving the community more. So ANC is very different from other malls.
How did you come up with the name ANC?
ANC is me and my wife. I'm Andy, Andrew, my wife is Cecilia. We've been married for 50 years. We've been all over the world together. I got married when I was 24. My wife was 20. And we've been all over the world. So for me, it's a partnership. We do everything together. And this is to acknowledge her support to me. So it's ANC more, and basically it's a family. I brought in my children who are helping me. One of my children is the MD of the company. Another one is the operations manager. So it's a family that I have already put a succession plan so that whatever maybe the business will continue.
That's one of the key things that we aren't able to do in Ghana. I don't see a lot of companies that are like over 100 years old, where you find that in the UK, in the US. What do you think is lacking? Because what happens to us as Ghanaians that we are not able to keep our businesses for so long?
What happened to us is we don't look long term. You start business, he's doing very well. He send the children abroad, they finish, they get jobs there, and they stay. Now the day that something happens to him, the children comes and they have no idea of the business. When you look at the Indians, and you look at the Lebanese, they bring the children in when they are young. Go to a mommy and pop shop in London. When the child comes from school, he comes to do this. When he's not there, the mother is there. When the father, so they build a business, it becomes part of them. That is what we don't do. I mean, it was not easy because all my children, they were in private schools in Britain, they went to the States, some were engineers, but I have to sit with them and tell them to look at the future. And then finally, I was able to convince them that it's worth their while to leave whatever they are doing and come and support me. And so far, they've been happy being here. And so far now, it gives me a lot of, I am not involved in the day-to-day. I'm just behind planning. Now we have a new mall which is ready. It will be open very soon. It's called ANC Corner. ANC Corner is basically going to be a home decor. Everything to do with construction, building, home decoration, furniture, everything. Because in Ghana, if you are building, you have to go to about 20 different places to buy cement here, to buy iron rods here. Now we want to put all of this together. This is also a first. There's nothing like that here. And then on the top floor, we're going to have restaurant, fine dining. There's no fine dining in East Legon, you know, so we're going to have fine dining there. It's almost finished. The tenants are fitting, so we hope that in March, that will be open. Then we have a bigger project called the ANC Village. This is Oyibi on the way to Dodowa. Before you reach the Valley View School, it's about 10 times the size of ANC Mall. It's going to be a whole village. Houses, apartments, commercial, So our plan in such a way that I may not be there, but the plan is there, and the plan will continue.
The plan will definitely continue. But I want to go back to your children. Was it hard to convince them? Because every child has their own vision and what they want to do in life. And so convincing them to leave their jobs in the US, UK, wherever they were, was that really challenging for you?
It was difficult, but I think what helped me was that because I decided to come early. When I came, I was 55. So they have just finished and they've just started. They were not entrenched. So it was easy, and actually all of them didn't come at the same time. One came, after some time, the other one saw he came, and only recently the third one came. So it was not that you went and no, it took time, and I think maybe if I was doing it today, it would be difficult because they will be married, they have bought their mortgage and things like that. It will be more difficult. So I think maybe because the timing was good, and because, as I said, they didn't all come, but one came, and then they saw that was not bad, and the other came, and the rest came. So, but we have to encourage more. When you look, some of these big Indian companies in Ghana, the people running them, it was their fathers. Malcolm and things, if you go to, they are all Ghanaians. They were all born here. Yeah. It was their fathers who started. So why can't we do that? Why is it that when a Ghanaian dies, the business dies with him? When you go outside the country, some businesses have been there for 100 years, 15 years, 200 years. We need to be able to do that. That is the only way we can build this country.
I'm glad you touched on that point, because it looks like when a Ghanaian owner and founder of a business dies, the business dies. Why are we not able to continue the legacy of our founders?
Because we don't plan. You must have a vision, and you must have a plan. I mean, you go, somebody is a tailor, top-class tailor in England. He makes sure that his son, who went to the top school, comes in. It's planning. The problem is that we don't plan. And then you are doing business, things are going on well, then you start having too many women, having children from different women. That also becomes a contention when you die. Each group, so these are, I've seen it so much. You have to be focused, you have to have a vision. From the very beginning, you should know where you are going. And these things, you don't just hope it happens, you plan it even when you are alive.
In the last year or so, we had an influx of diasporans that wanted to come, and now it's like they're not too sure whether they should come. Would you still encourage them to come back home?
No, I'll encourage them to come back because I came 20 years now. And what I see, the opportunities in Ghana, you cannot get them anywhere. When you go to the United States or you go to Europe, for example, in America, there are 4 companies who've signed contract with all the retailers and all the big companies. So when they open the mall, they go in. You just can't go and open a mall there. You go to England, you go to Britain, it's all, so here, opportunities are abound. It's just that we don't see it and we don't make the best out of it. But I believe that there's more money. I practically see gold on the ground, only that we don't see it. Why is it that we are finding it difficult to come, but foreigners, Indians, Chinese, Lebanese, they come and make money here? Why? Is it not the same place? The opportunities are here.
Is it that we support them more for them to come? Is a Ghanaian supported the same way as a Lebanese coming in?
That is one part which I think the government, they don't make a conscious effort to help and support indigenous Ghanaians or Africans to come and
Jafric Radio, your #1 online radio station based in Japan. Hi, my name is The Laboratory, an international
Example, I've been here, I set my company 20 years ago, ANC Mall is 15 years, we are building 2 other malls. I've not got any exemption from the country, but I know foreign companies, they come and they give them full exemption. Sometimes 5 years, 10 years, you know. So the government should make conscious effort. I have colleagues who went back to Malaysia, one of them went to Indonesia. They actually went with only ideas, but the government helped them. One started a laboratory supported by the government in Malaysia. Now he has 18 laboratories in Malaysia. So our government also should make an effort, a specific effort. But the only problem I see sometimes, politics, there should be a special system set together to see whoever comes, if you have a good plan, you are supported, and you know. So I think something is lacking from the part of the government. So that discourages people from coming. So if you have a lucrative job outside, you don't want to lose everything and come. But I think that the opportunities here are more than you can get anywhere. The other thing is the interest rates are very high. So if you come here, you want to set up a business, and you go to the bank, and you have to take interest, 40%. How can you make it? There are some fundamental problems which the government has to come in and find a way to support. You know, so I encourage people to come, but they must know that there are problems. And then when you come, I always advise people, don't rush to do everything. Take your time, pace yourself, go slowly, 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 and build up whatever you want to put together.
What would you say are the 4 or 5 things that you have learned from living abroad in the diaspora and coming back home to Ghana? And if there were anything that you could change, if you were in power, if you had the power to do so, what are the things that you would change to make it better?
First, I think I cannot compare living abroad in the sense that I was lucky to work with an international organization. So things were very, very different. But what I see when I'm here and I see how people do business outside and I see the support given, I feel that Ghanaians need to be given more support. I think that the government should have a special program for people coming in, support them, but also be part of the business. For example, my friend in Malaysia told me that when they give you money, the government will appoint the project manager so that the project is done according to the plan that you brought. You just don't give the money to the person, and before you know, you have bought the biggest Mercedes and the biggest car in town. So the government should be consciously ensure that they support them. There are a lot of difficulties. One thing I've also noticed is that when you are doing business here and you want to be successful, you have to be very honest, and your word should be your bound. You should work in this way that when you talk to people, all the people who I started, who supplied me with things, up to today, the same people are supplying me. Sometimes you go and take things from people, you don't want to pay them and all that, so you create bad atmosphere. So if you are honest, you do the right thing. 3, take good care of your staff, because your staff is the backbone of everything you are doing. Your staff should be partners with you. They should not be employer-employee relationship. So it's very, very important. You take good care of your staff, you support them, and you make them feel that you are part of them. You also should be humble. Ghanaians, when they do business, it goes into their head. I mean, I'll go out there, nobody knows me. And that's the way I want it to be. But when we do business, sometimes we get a bit too pompous. It doesn't work well. So see, these are some of the things. If you want to do business here, like any other place, the tenants here, we don't treat them as tenants. We treat them as partners. We go to them, discuss their problems, help them to find solutions. So the people who are working here, the people who have shops here, some have been with us from the very beginning. When the COVID came, nobody came to us. We went to them. We said, because of the COVID, you will not pay rent for this period. After that, we reduce your rent for this period. until finally we came back to the normal distance. You have to get all the people around you, both the people who are serving you and the people who you are serving, to know that you are all a team working together.
So we're at Blush Avenue. This is one of my friends from the UK. Hi. How are you, my darling? How are you?
Flutes from Ghana. I urge you all to listen to Jafric Radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio, radio mu papa. Jafric Radio, radio mu kiko. Jafric Radio, ye mamu kasi papa. Jafric Radio, ye mamu flutu papa. Jafric Radio. Say Papa Jafric Radio. Yeah, Mama, this is Papa Jafric Radio, radio, Jafric Radio. Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio, radio, Mukiko, Jafric Radio. Yeah, Mama.
Yes.
For December, so just doing all our training.
Okay, good.
And preparing for promotion.
And there seems to be a lot of diasporans here that have a lot of shops. Yeah.
Diasporans from the States, the UK, the Middle East, everywhere. So
Okay.
There's a large variety.
Awesome. And this is where I always buy my pancakes as well. They do the best pancakes. Yes. And then Soles and Stitches. Switzerland. Oh, okay. So Soles and Stitches, again, another diasporan that moved. They repair shoes, sneakers, everything. Hello, my brother.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm doing very well.
How is business in ANC Mall?
I mean, ANC Mall is fantastic. The foot traffic, the amount of people that come here, so business is really good. We can't complain.
Yeah.
Even during the downturn, we're still managing to stay afloat. So
Fantastic.
business is not bad.
Business is not bad because you've managed to expand.
Yes, we have. We've done some big expansions and we're expanding more before the end of the year.
Wow.
So can't complain.
And it's all to do with the shoes. So what are you doing differently that nobody's doing?
You know what? We can do any part of a shoe. We can repair any part of a shoe, a bag, any leather product, and a lot of people don't do that. They only do probably the underneath of the shoe, but we do everything else. And we've got all the machinery, all the supplies to do whatever needs to be done.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Africa, we are blessed with abundance of everything that you can think of. I've been to the UAE several times, and the development that is there, the things that are happening, this is a place that was built on just desert. What are we lacking as Africa? What is it that we cannot achieve when we have abundance of things that they don't even have, that they are creating? When you look at their tourism, Dubai is flourishing, people are always going to Dubai. What is it that we're not doing as a continent?
I think what we are not doing as a continent is that the Western world makes sure they try to keep us where we are. So, because they need the raw materials we produce. Look at cocoa. Ghana, number 2, Ivory Coast, number 1. The cocoa market, let's say if it's 100 billion, the producers of the raw material are getting 5 billion. Now, why don't we make efforts to add value to our cocoa? Why don't we make effort to add value to our mango? You go to the shops, it's full of canned fruits from outside. And we have the thing here because they are making effort to keep us where we are, but we are not fighting to get out of it. They did it to the Asians. I remember when I was young, when you hear in the papers that a country, people are dying of hunger, it is India. Today, India with over 1 everywhere in the world. Go to Vietnam, which had this long war with America, you'll be shocked at what is going on in Vietnam. We have to make a conscious effort. They don't want us, but we don't let them push us. The others have fought. China, only 30 years ago, China was a third world country. Look at China today. Singapore, they have absolutely nothing, even water, they import water. Look at Singapore. When Ghana got independence, we had the same independence, the same year with Malaysia. And when they look at Ghana, Malaysia, Korea, Singapore, Ghana, according to the statistics, was ahead of all these other countries. Where are they now and where are we now? So I think the problem is us, in the sense that, they push you so that you export the raw materials to them. They discourage you even from producing your own food. If you go and look at how much tomato, chicken, rice Ghana is importing, when we have the terrain, everything to be able to produce our own. So I will not blame the West. They are businessmen. They want to get the best out of it. But what are we doing? How can India now be exporting surplus food with almost 2 billion people? How can China be all over Africa giving us support? China, they have lifted their people. Now, most Chinese are in the middle class. Why can't we do that? So there's something wrong with us. We need to look inside. There's no need to continue to blame other people. We should look inside and see what we can do to change the situation.
We're going to wrap up now. Is there anything that you would want to say to the diaspora or the people who are watching?
No, what I want to say to the diaspora is, you're outside. Instead of serving your country, you are serving another country. So you stay there and you say, oh, things are not working. But you have to come and help for things to work. All the things I'm saying, when you're in diaspora, you got the experience, you work in different, so those experiences need to be brought here so that we can help and all of us to build the country together. But if you stay on the sideline and you are only looking at what is going wrong and not trying to see what can I do to help, then we continue to be where we are. You go to China, they intentionally every year send students to America and other things to study. They make sure they bring them back so that the knowledge they got there, they bring it into the country. These are the things we have to do. So the diaspora should not just think of themselves individually, but they should think of their nation and say, what can I go and do? Because if you are outside, you always be a foreigner. You can be in the biggest position, but you still be a foreigner. But if you're in your country, you feel, when I go out and I look at the number of people working in the mall, when I go and see people who are happy, enjoying, I feel content. It's not the money. I feel happy that my little effort is making people happy, people coming here to shop, bringing their children to the playground. So we should all try to see that this is the only continent we have. What can we do to lift our continent to reach the level of the other? If they can do it, we can also do it.
So I read a report online that over 1 million Ghanaians applied for a US visa. Why do you think a lot of people are wanting to move from Ghana?
I understand them because things are not easy. When you are in a country where within a year the currency can devalue by almost 200%, then you can see the problem. It's easy to sit down and pontificate and blame others, but I see their problems. Jobs are difficult, you can't make ends meet. Even when you have a job, the salaries are very, very low. So what do? Out of desperation, you want to go. So it's not the people, it's the government which have to make conscious effort to make things good so that people will stay. So I don't blame the people who are trying to go. If I'm here, I finish university, I have a degree, and I can't get a job, what do you want me to do?
Why is it that we cannot stick to using a Ghana cedi? When I went to the UAE, you have to change your dollar into their currency. When you go to the UK, you have to use the pound. You can't use another currency. Why is it we finding it so difficult to use the Ghana cedi?
When you allow other people to dictate for you, this is what we are doing. When you say you go to the IMF, you go to the World Bank, there are conditionalities. And some of the conditionalities is what affect us. Because you borrow in dollars,
What Bible do you read?
Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan. Hi, my name is The Laboratory, an international flutist from Ghana. I urge you all to listen to Jafric Radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio, Radio mu papa. Jafric Radio.
To pay back in dollars. So dollar, even though you have a local money, dollar becomes the medium of your operations. So at the end of the day, we have to sit down and see what we can do. And there's nowhere in this world that you can get things easy. You have to suffer. We all have to. But when we are suffering, we all must suffer together. You cannot have people who are supposed to be serving you enjoying, and the people who are being served in trouble. We have to be open to say things are not working because we are not looking at it from the right. If you spend all your time going to the Euro market to get money, you have to pay back. So they control you. They give you conditions. What do? You go to South Africa, you cannot use a dollar there. You have to change your dollar. Nobody will accept your dollar. But Ghana, people will be very happy if you come and instead of paying it in cedis, you give them dollars. But this is condition that we have set up for ourselves. You know, you don't go to Malaysia or China or somewhere and say, nobody will touch your dollars. You know, so it is our responsibility to make sure things are done the way other countries have been able to do it so that we can move forward as a continent and as a country.
Are we patriotic as Ghanaians?
For me, I think leadership by example is how you can instill patriotism in the citizenry. But if you are the leader and we see you in a big car enjoying and everything, how do you want the small man to be patriotic? But you see the leader, he's going through the same hardship as everybody, then we all, our hands are on deck. So I don't blame the people, I blame the system. What is not working in this country is that the systems are not working. The systems are for some people, but some people are not. No. You go to places where it's working, everybody. I mean, look at what is being happening in England. Just because the chancellor does something, he's out. The prime minister does something, he's out. It doesn't happen here. So this is our problem. So I don't blame the people for not being patriotic. I blame leadership for not instilling patriotism, and the only way you can instill patriotism is to be patriotic yourself.
This has been an interesting conversation, and I'm sure that the audience, you have learned a lot. I've learned a lot, and I've learned that you have to pace yourself, right? One step at a time, because otherwise you might get frustrated and you might move back, as many have done. A lot of people go into pension 70, 75, that's when they move back, but he decided to come back and do something. You can't just be in the UK, US and be complaining if you haven't come back in Ghana to do something. And he said he doesn't blame people who are trying to go across the borders. Times are difficult, and so you have to look at your situation and kind of see what is best for you. So my last words would be, Ghana needs you. We need to make sure that we work as a collective. For us to be patriotic, every single one of us needs to be patriotic. And it starts from the leadership all the way down. So I still encourage you to come back home and try and do your best. And
Radio Muki con Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu kasi papa Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu futu papa Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu kasi papa Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu adisra papa Jafric Radio. Radio Jafric Radio. Jafric Radio, your number one online radio station based in Japan. Jafric Radio Muki con Jafric Radio. Yeah, mamu kasi papa Jafric Radio.